Mexico ruined my life forever.
Bruh.
More specifically, it ruined my American lifestyle forever. Now, again, this is not necessarily a bad thing, as you guys already know from watching my channel and following the content that I produce here. But for you new viewers, hey, welcome. Not just the new viewers, but the old viewers as well. Welcome back to another episode. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how Mexico ruined my life for the better. Yeah, you already know it's a little bit of a play on words here, but it's the reality, you know what I mean? The truth, it really did ruin my life for the better. It changed my life for the better. The reason I say ruin is because, well, there is a lot of people that do move out here and it does ruin their life. And that is what we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be talking about the real realities of living out here in Mexico. So again, if you're new here, that's what we do on this channel. I show you what life is like out here, and I also talk about it. And for all you old viewers out there, well, you already know what's up. Buckle up and let's get ready to rock and roll. So, after living out here in Mexico for so many years, I can never, ever, ever go back to my old lifestyle. And what is that old lifestyle? Again, for some people, they find comfort in that old lifestyle, but not for everybody. And so for me, part of that old lifestyle that I don't miss, all right, is, the fact that, I was always scared, for lack of a better description, always living in fear. And, again, scared of just about anything or everything, meaning, you're always living in fear, whether, let's say a police officer pulls you over, you don't know, what kind of attitude or mood he's going to be in. And then again, you just hope that he just gives you an overinflated ticket and nothing else but that. Or, again, you never know what could happen. Forget the police issue. Again, you could just literally be at Starbucks minding your own business, and some, Karen or some, undesirable person out there all of a sudden has a problem with the way that your t-shirt looks, or the way that you talked to your friend, or whatever. Anything can happen. It's living in constant, fear. It's living constantly on the edge. And look, I get it. I'm from Miami. We live out there on the edge all the time. There's tons of people, that love to live that kind of lifestyle, but it's not for me. I had no idea. To me, I thought that that was awesome, being able to live that life and live in that kind of a life, what I mean, where everything's just you never know, you always got to be ready for anything could just happen at any moment's notice. And so I always kind of used to always take pride in that, the fact that it was hard to surprise me and all this other stuff, because you're always ready for anything. But the reality is that, after living in Mexico for so long, I've realized that no, I've been living in fear the whole time in the USA. And again, what do I mean? Well, again, it's not just an issue with authority. Whether it's a police officer or a security guard at the mall, or some overzealous employee at whatever job, or whatever business you want to go to, and they all of a sudden want to ruin your life or make your life miserable just because whatever, you complain that they didn't give you enough mozzarella sticks in the order that you paid for. Whatever. I don't want to get into specific with too many details. You guys can figure it out. You still probably live there. And for some people, they enjoy that. They enjoy the fact that they're living in a place that's full of rules and regulations and quote unquote accountability. And again, the accountability always comes with some sort of authority figure coming to present that sort of authority, whatever it is. And so you're always living in fear of insulting the wrong person, of again, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I could go on and on. And so for me, once I, came out to Mexico and I was living out here, and, again, slowly but surely, just by living in a, world, in a city, in a place in which things were just a lot more chilled and relaxed, well, all of a sudden, my stress started to melt away. Not just my stress, but again, all of a sudden, this fear, this paranoia that, me and a lot of people have when they come out here. And what do I mean by that? Well, again, I've covered it multiple times on the channel when, it's as simple as, you're afraid of the Mexican tax authority, the Mexican officials, when it comes to tax. And again, I proved over and over and over again that you have nothing to worry about. You're not getting taxed, just like every other Mexican out there. And not just the tax, but when it comes to residency, people scared and afraid because again, they are, always, preempted to think that way, just simply because of the culture that they come from, which again comes from a place where, again, getting immigration, like in the sense of the USA, it's very, very difficult for, immigrants to get immigration, to get their papers in a sense, in the USA. But, now all of a sudden, when they come to Mexico, they can't wrap their head around the fact that, it's actually a lot easier compared to what it is, back home. And then, I could go on and on, where, it's not just, authority figures when it comes to government and bureaucracy, but police officers, out here, all of my interactions with police officers have been pleasant. In fact, I've said multiple times, looking back at, every single police interaction that I've had out here has been, mostly pleasant. And, the few times that they have been unpleasant has been my fault, for just, being myself, or, just, again, once I got my point across and the police officer left me alone, I continued, the harassment. I don't know what else to say. And it's simply because, well, out here, people's rights are actually upheld, and authority figures like the police don't really have that much authority like they do in the USA. So basically, if they tell you to do something but your rights and you just challenge them on that, well, they just leave you alone here. But in the USA, it's not like that at all. In fact, in the USA, it's like you better comply with anything and everything that is presented to you. And for some people, that's amazing. They love it. In fact, that's why, they think that Mexico has ruined their life, because they cannot handle the anarchy out here, or the sense of the fact that, police or government or what have you don't have that sense of accountability like they do in the USA. But for a lot of freedom loving people out there, are you kidding me? I love that. I love the fact that, again, you can stand up for your rights, or again, you don't have to really do much to, again, keep your rights out here, or again, live a more relaxed life in which you don't always have to be scared of, again, breaking the law or breaking some sort of rule or a regulation or what have you. And then on top of that, even if you do break a law or do something wrong in Mexico, most of the time you're only going to get a scolding from an authority figure. You maybe get a slap on the wrist or a simple fine. Where in the USA, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? You'll be, lucky if you just get a simple fine, whether it's from a police officer or an inspector or whatever it is, or even a corporation. Corporations are giving fines to citizens in the USA, but that's another story for another day. At the end of the day, it's ruined me in the sense that, well, now here in Mexico, I have really, really, really had to, again, put my, words into action, in the sense that, hey, I'm always talking about, you got to be self-reliant, and you got to, again, be able to take care of yourself and not have any kind of government or any kind of entity or authority figure, step in to help you out. Well, guess what? In Mexico, it forces you to live that way because, well, guess what? All Mexicans live that way. Most Mexicans don't have, the rights that, you might have in the USA or Canada or whatever, meaning that, hey, they can't just go to the government office and say, I'm disabled. Hey, I can't work. Hey, I'm this. Hey, I'm that. And the government just gives them money. Again, in the USA, you say you're poor, they'll give you money. They'll give you money to buy food. They'll give you money to, just stay at home and do nothing. In Mexico, you go to the government and you tell them, hey, I'm poor. And they'll tell you, oh, great. Look, here we have a bunch of job listings, So, and they're great because, hey, they got government benefits to go along with them. So, you need a job? We got, what level of skill do you have? And don't worry, you can probably get a job with the government. And if not, hey, look, the private sector probably has a lot of other jobs. And if that doesn't work, you can start your own business. Yeah, that's right. That's what Mexico does. There ain't no handouts out here. Again, unless you are super disabled, unless you are, elderly, getting some sort of pension, getting some sort of what have you. Yeah, no, there is absolutely no help. Now, again, most people don't need any kind of like government help because, well, the private sector basically takes care of most of it. Whether it's anything from, healthcare or, any other service, in which the, people are relying on the government back in the USA. So again, even when it comes to jobs, again, the private sector is able to take care of that, or the government does not intervene, okay, with the small business owner, so that, again, they can start their own business. As you guys have seen in multiple videos of mine and other people, that live out here in Mexico, you can see in the videos that there's plenty of vendors all over the place, okay, that don't have any kind of licenses, don't pay any taxes, don't do any of that stuff, and they're able to, freely sell on the street. Okay. Now, in some cases, yes, in some cities, they got to get a minimal permit, a minimal, kind of a, permission, in order to serve or what have you, or to work in certain areas of the city that are, again, highly desirable for a lot of people. So, make you pay a little permit, which, again, it's called a flor de piso or something like that. But the point is, it doesn't matter. A lot of people get that confused and say, oh, do you got to pay the cartel, certain amount of money to work in the area? It's like, yeah, the government, is that what you mean? Because, yeah, just like in the USA, yeah, if you want to work in the touristy area, that's, a lot of people want to work in, then, yeah, they're probably going to make you pay some sort of fee. Now, who collects it? Well, depends on who's in power. Most of the time, it's the government, all right? So call them whatever you want to call them. But at the end of the day, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot less hassle to deal with that kind of stuff out here, because they're just asking for their fee and they're on their way. They're not they're not going after you with inspectors. They're not going after you with all kinds of, rules and regulations to nickel and dime you to death. It's as simple as, hey, if you don't wash your hands when you're making tacos and you get some of the people sick, well, guess what? Nobody's going to buy your tacos. And if no one buys your tacos, well, then guess what? You're not going to sell them. And if you're not going to sell any tacos, well, then you're out of business, and that's it. It takes care of itself. That's it. The end. You know what I mean? And so now, of course, there are cases of major negligence. Well, guess what? That's when the government or the court system and all this stuff steps in. So the fact that most people don't have to live in fear out here, they can conduct business as they please. They can walk freely, without any care in the world, whether they're going to insult somebody or not, and I could go on and on, where, again, everyone has, forced to have self-accountability. So again, if you are out there, out and about, and you insult another Mexican, well, you're gonna have to take care of it with them. There ain't no cop that's gonna intervene. There's no nothing. You know what I mean? If you call the cops, they're most likely not gonna show up. And if they do show up, they're gonna probably just laugh and act as a referee. Because you win. Go at it. Go ahead, guys. You got a problem? Fight, and then the cops will probably take bets on both of you fight. And once the fight's over, they're if one of you guys needs medical attention, they'll help you out. That's it. And that's the thing. It's like that's how things are done in Mexico. So guess what? Because of that, a lot more people are respectful. They're not out there, acting a fool. Constantly, again, challenging other individuals and challenging strangers. Because the reason that happens in the USA or other countries is because there's no fear of repercussion. People can out, flat out insult other individuals and be, ass, for lack of a better description, and there's no accountability. They're the ones that act horribly against another human, and they call the cops, and the cops end up arresting the other person that probably didn't do anything. So again, things like that don't happen out here. So because of that, you gotta, again, you open your mouth and you insult somebody, well, you better figure out the solution quickly, or, something's going to happen. And again, it goes with everything. So again, let's say that you're walking your dog, and God forbid, or God, again, knock on wood, doesn't happen, but let's say you're walking your dog and your dog bites a kid or bites some other human. What do you think is going to happen? Well, you got to come to an agreement then and there. Most of the time you offer the Mexican, a few hundred pesos, 500, 1,000 pesos, depending on the severity on the bite, and they'll be more than happy. They'll be like, oh my God, I won the lottery. All right. And that's it. And again, it's like I said, depending on the Mexican, because let's say if it's a rich Mexican, oh no, you're gonna have to pay a lot of money, But at the end of the day, everything's kind of like fixed and you need to come for a solution then and there, because if not, and they have to call the cops because you cannot come to some sort of agreement. Well, now we got a problem, because again, now you caused damage to another human. You know what I mean? So I could go on and on. You know what I mean? It's like, when a lot of people they come out here, they cannot handle the fact that, things are done a certain way. Unless you actually do something, where you cause damage, bodily damage, property damage, things that you got to be held accountable for, then you're really not going to spend much time in prison or, in jail, or if any at all. And so people, that's why they got to have that vigilante justice out here. And you see that all the grandmas are always nosy. They're keeping an eye on your stuff, and everyone, and making sure that everything is safe and hunky-dory, all right? And then, the men in the neighborhood, or, even the older women, they'll come at you with the sandal, they'll come at you, and they'll protect their property, they'll protect their, their stuff, because the cops aren't going to protect it. No real authority figure is going to protect anything, so it's up to you, to protect your stuff. So, again, when robbers out here know that the police aren't going to do anything, but at the same time, they're also not going to do anything, to the people that end up lynching the bad guys. Well, again, the bad guys, they're more careful about what they do and who they do it to. Unfortunately, in the USA, someone breaks into your home, and in some states, they break into your home, and you cause them any bodily harm or damage, and now you're the one that's going to jail after they broke into your home. Bruh. That doesn't happen in Mexico. Okay, it doesn't again, outside of you killing the guy or something like that, but that's another story for another day. The point is that things are a lot more free in Mexico. Things, again, you are held a lot more accountable for your actions, and again, you have to deal with that. And so, at least for me, that's something that I thoroughly, enjoy, and made my life even better. Again, it burst my American bubble. Mexico ruined my life because it forced me to abandon my American lifestyle. Now, of course, I've shown you many times that, again, we have, beautiful parks, and we got the malls, and we got, the McDonald's and the Burger Kings. We got every single thing. We got NFL football. We got everything. Every single thing, all right, that we have in the USA, we have here as well. So as I was saying earlier, coming to Mexico has forced me out of my American bubble. Again, what do I mean by that American bubble? Well, the simple fact that before I came to Mexico, I thought, what a lot of you guys think about Mexico, the fact that it's dangerous. Everybody is, living in the middle of the desert, on a burro, or living in Cancun, and it's a third world country, and they got nothing. And then, once I got here, I quickly realized, oh, wait a minute. No, Mexico is first world country. They have everything and anything that you could ever want. And then on top of that, the cultural differences, meaning that, oh, wait a minute, look at this amazing country function. Okay, sure, it's not perfect. Sure, it has its bumps. It's nothing's again perfect out there. But what I'm trying to get at is that a whole country functioning with again, very little government, very little authority, just anarchy, for lack of a better description. And, that to me was a very welcome surprise. And it, again, got me out of that American bubble, because in the USA, a lot of us that are freedom loving people out there, we think to ourselves, oh my gosh, we cannot live, again, with no rules, no regulation, or any kind of anarchy. Government is a necessary evil. Again, until you come to another country in which, the government is inept, to say the least, and authority is, again, wild west out there. It's not really doing anything but, maybe stealing your money. Then you quickly realize, oh, wait a minute. The people themselves can take care of themselves. The communities can take care of themselves. The cities, the countries, I mean, sorry, the states within the country, they can all just take care of themselves. All the people can take care of themselves. And government is only needed, for certain, things like little itty bitty things. Nothing crazy. Most of the things that need to be done can be done by the private sector very well. Or, again, the people themselves. And so, coming out here, forced me out of that bubble. Again, it was really good for me. It ruined, my American bubble. It just ruined that for me. And so it forced me out of that bubble. And really, again, forced me to live like not just the typical Mexican lives, but how a lot of people around the world live. And it really, messed with my mind in the best way possible. Where, again, it really, really, really forced me to look deeper into myself, into my complaints, my first world problems, and I can go on and on. Again, most of you guys that have seen my full story know fully well, that I came out here and, I pretty much did it as hardcore as you could do it. But even then, I was in my bubble. Even then, I was, again, I would get butt hurt if I didn't have, my XYZ, a comfort from the USA, until eventually I got used to not needing that comfort or not caring about whether or not, I can flush the toilet paper down the toilet, or not, or, so many little things like that. And, it made me a better person. It's constantly making me a better person because it's a constant challenge. A challenge on myself that whenever it gets too hard for me out here, I quickly have to look in the mirror and say, hey bro, look, I get it. It's hard for you, but you know what? All these other Mexicans are in that same boat. They're not complaining. They're smiling and they're just doing it. They're dealing with it. So same with you, brother. You know what I mean? And so it's that kind of reality check that you're constantly always getting out here that really, puts everything into perspective. And another reason, again, it ruined me in the best way possible, where, again, it made me tougher. It made me harder. It made me able to deal with more adversity. And not just deal with the adversity, but, again, enjoy the ride. And as I've dealt with the adversity, it's made me, be able to deal with the future adversity with ease. Because now that I'm not constantly on edge, now, or stressed out or scared or any of that because of living in the USA, now that my health is exponentially better because I'm eating healthier, I get to go to doctors, as many as I want, whenever I want. My life is just amazingly better. It's just so much better. It has made me realize, how deep, I was in that bubble. And it has also made me, really be thankful, for everything that I have now. And also, whenever anyone asks me if I ever want to go back to the USA, it's an outstanding no. More and more each and every day, because again, I still watch a lot of videos about how life is in the USA. I miss my country, but I don't miss it. You know what I mean? Like I don't miss, the huge roads and highways, and I don't miss architecture and the McDonald's and the fast food and just the American lifestyle. I don't miss any of that. I miss a few things about living in the country. I lived there most of my life, but I don't really miss any of it. Like I said, I just don't miss that lifestyle at all. You know what I mean? Like, and so the longer I'm here, the more it's going to ruin me, where I'm never going to want to go back. Why would I ever go back? You know what I mean? Like I'm living in paradise compared to where I came from. Again, it's not perfect here, but compared to what I know, what I'm used to, what I've been through, it's the gazillion times better. And, whatever hardship comes at me through, living out here and being out here, I'm able to deal with it. And not only deal with it, but, very, very happily doing it, again, with a big smile on my face. And, look, a lot of us out there, have had, things that have ruined our lives. But, as it was ruining our lives, hey, we were enjoying the ride. All right. And, once, it came to pay the piper, that's when, things got a little serious. But at the end of the day, many of us have ruined our lives in one shape, form, or another. Hopefully for some of you guys, it's been worth it and you've been able to get out of it and learn from it and build from it and all that. But you all know some of these experiences that have ruined your life in the past, some of them, in fact, most of them have made you a better person all around. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. Again, some of those experiences have changed your life forever. You know what I mean? Good or bad. And this is one of those experiences, where, again, Mexico has truly changed my life. Again, it has ruined my former life to the point where I can never, ever, 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 ever see myself going back to that life ever again. That's it. I'm spoiled. I'm ruined. If it's not better than what I'm living out here in Mexico, I don't want it. Sorry. No way, Jose. I'm good out here. And with all that being said, you already know the deal, guys. I want to give a big shout out to all my members, all my patrons, every single one of you guys that's always down below in the comment section, leaving comments or helping out, by leaving, information, or adding to what I'm saying in the videos, by giving us stats or giving us numbers or giving us, your experience or whatever it is. So, and again, you guys in the comment section, the community we're trying to build here, here on Facebook, on the website, all over the place. Again, a big shout out to all of you guys and thank you so much. Again, you guys are the real stars. You guys are the real, helpers out there, because again, I'm doing my part, but you guys, again, are an extension of all that. So I'm want to give a big shout out to all of you guys out there. And on top of all that, again, shout out to every single one of you guys that you already know, you leave a like. You watch the commercials, watch the ads, you send me $1 here or there. You help the show. You already know. We're trying to make ends meet here. And, the more you guys help me, the more I'm able to help all of you guys. But at the end of the day, I'm never asking for anything. I'm just always very thankful for all of you guys that have already helped and are constantly helping me in whichever way you can. All right. So now that we got all that out of the way, you already know the deal, guys. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please hit the bell icon. But more importantly than anything else, please stay awesome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.